nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we call the roll, I'll turn it over to City Clerk.
I need Councilor Olson, Bender, McDonald, Finsland, Dahlbeck, and Dahlbeck to come forward. Dahlbeck and Dahlbeck. Sounds like a plumbing company.
No, they sound like a legal firm.
Oh, yeah.
Especially Dahlbeck and Dahlbeck.
Yeah.
Right over here?
Wherever you want, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
You have to wait on the.
Boy, lots of people have foot problems.
Okay, have you raised your right arm? Do you, Dan Olson, 1st District, Warren Bender, 3rd District, Denise McDonald, 5th District, Bob Finsland, 7th District, Dennis Dahlbeck, 9th District, and Esther Dahlbeck, 10th District, having been elected as alderperson in the City of Superior in Douglas County, Wisconsin, swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin, and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of your ability, so help you God. I'll call the roll. Councilor Olson.
Here.
Councilor Fennessy. Here. Councilor Bender.
Here.
Councilor Sweeney. Here. Councilor McDonald. Councilor Mazzolia. Here. Councilor Finsland. Here. Councilor Herrick. Here. Councilor Dahlbeck. Here. Councilor Dahlbeck. I'll have to do an E and a D Dahlbeck from now on.
What you should do is say Counselor Dahlbeck.
Yeah.
Recognize a quorum will proceed.
Item number 3.2 is selection of council president.
I should take a minute and map out what has been the procedure, at least historically, for the selection of our council president and vice president. We typically would take a nominations for candidates, and we would do the president first. We only need a nomination and a second to have a candidate effectively nominated for the position. It need not go to a vote. Each candidate will then be invited to address the council if he or she chooses for a minute. I'll cut you off at a minute. If you can't decide amongst yourselves the order of the speakers, we can cut cards or something arbitrary like that. And then we would put the matter obviously to a vote, and it's been a roll call vote historically. In other words, each of you would speak out loud your preferred candidate. If more than 2 of you are nominated for president or vice president for that matter, and no candidate receives 6 votes, obviously 6 votes for any one nominee would carry the day. If more than 2 are nominated, no candidate receives more than 6, or 6 or more rather, we would take the top 2 candidates to a final vote. Now, it's possible obviously to have more than 2 nominated and no top 2, for you could easily have a 4-3-3. In that case, the 2 who are tied would be put to a vote, and then 6 votes would carry the day for one of those individuals to then go on with the 4 spot to the final round. And once we have 2 finalists, if more than 1 are nominated, the vote would go to the council, and that should resolve it. Of course, we can have a tie, and we've had that in the past. The mayor, by statute, can break that tie but doesn't have to if he doesn't want to. And if the mayor declines to break a tie, we would submit the matter for a second roll call vote. And if that didn't do the trick, we would do a secret ballot. And if we were still at a deadlock, we cut cards. And it sounds, as quirky as that sounds, it's been an acceptable way of breaking a tie in the past. Councilor Olson launched his presidency with a Queen of Diamonds draw over then Councilor Bridges 3 of clubs back in '09, and it worked. So we don't bring cards to be funny. It's actually sometimes required. So I hope that makes sense. And with that said, we'll proceed.
Councillor Esther Dahlbeck.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Finsland for president, please.
I'd like to second that.
Heard a motion and second for nomination of Councillor Finsland to be president. Are there further nominations? Councillor Olson.
I'd like to nominate Mike Herrick for president. I'd like to second that.
Heard a motion and second for nomination of Mike Herrick for president. Are there further nominations? I'll hand it over to the clerk.
I'm going to take a roll call vote. Please just voice your vote for the candidate.
Well,
No?
do we not want to offer them a chance to address the?
Oh, I'm
Council?
sorry. You're right. I'm jumping in. Sorry.
Would either candidate care to address the council and the body?
Yes, good evening, members of the council. I thank you for the nomination, and I accept the nomination, of course. And I just want to say that I'm looking forward, if this goes through, and serving you as your president. Also, what I find it's a valuable, not only for myself, but also for the city. I know being president in the past that I do learn a lot and able to bring that information not only to my knowledge, but the knowledge of others. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, and I appreciate the nomination, and I hope I can have the support of my fellow councilors. I've done this job before. I know how to do it. I will not grandstand. I will not make long speeches. I promise that I will not give you anybody surprises. I will keep it as above board and open a presidency as we can possibly have.
Please call the roll.
Councillor Olson.
Herrick.
Councillor Fennessy.
Finsland.
Councillor Bender.
Herrick.
Councillor Sweeney.
Finsland.
Councillor McDonald.
Finsland.
Councillor Mazzolia. Councillor Finsland. Councillor Herrick. Dennis Dahlbeck. Esther Dahlbeck. 7-3 with Councillor Finsland.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Item 3.3 is selection of council vice president.
Councillor Olson.
I'd like to nominate Warren Bender.
Councillor Dennis Dahlbeck.
Mike Herrick.
Need a second.
Oh,
Is that a second for Mike Herrick?
Councillor Mazzolia, is that a second for which? Mike Herrick.
Second for Bender.
Second for Bender. Any further nominations? Councillor McDonald.
I'd like to nominate Fennessy, Councillor Fennessy.
Is there a second? So motion and second for Fennessy. Any other further nominations? If not, I'll call the nomination period to a close. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Okay, you're calling between Councillor Bender, Councillor Herrick, or Councillor Fennessy. Councillor Olson.
Bender.
Counselor Fennessy,
Fennessy?
Counselor Bender,
Bender.
Counselor Sweeney,
Fennessy.
Counselor McDonald,
Fennessy.
Counselor Mazzolia, Counselor Finsland, Counselor Herrick, Dennis Dahlbeck, Esther Dahlbeck. That was Fennessy with 6, Bender with 2, and Herrick with 1.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President. If we may suspend the meeting at this time, I see that Secretary Gottlieb has just arrived. The second motion, second. Secretary Gottlieb, we welcome. We haven't hardly sat down, and we're asking you to step up. If you would like to step up to the microphone, that'd be great. We thank you so much for taking your time in the busy schedule to come and appear before this august body, and we welcome you. We appreciate all that you have afforded the northwestern part of Wisconsin as well as all of Wisconsin. I've said it a number of times, and our appreciation goes very deep to you and the department and the regional staff, deputy secretary, for all the fine work and the offerings that you've brought to our community and our region, and I want to thank you again.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Well, thanks for the invitation. I wasn't expecting it. Alderman Bender was at the Chamber of Commerce meeting yesterday afternoon and asked me, invited me to stop by, so I'm happy to do it. I don't know how much, she got a meeting going on here, just take a few minutes, but what we're up in Superior for right now is we're in the process of a 9-city tour called the Transportation Moves Wisconsin Tour. And we've just completed a few minutes ago the 3rd of 9 town hall meetings over at our Superior Regional Office for the DOT. We've previously been in La Crosse and Madison. We've been doing some other smaller meetings. I was up in Washburn this morning with the Scenic Byways Group, Superior Chamber of Commerce yesterday, Rice Lake Chamber of Commerce tomorrow morning, Eau Claire Regional Office for another town hall meeting tomorrow night. What we're talking about in this Transportation Moves Wisconsin initiative is really about a pressing issue in our state right now, which is how are we going to finance and how are we going to have an adequate, sustainable, and equitable system for financing transportation in our state for the future. We've had some commissions take a look at our needs in transportation. We've been able to have some great budgets over the last few budgets. We've been able to do a lot of local projects, just driving down the Tower Avenue project. We have some other work going on in this area, Harbor Assistant Grant over in Washburn. So, we're doing work, but we're investing over $1 billion a year in our state highway system and contract value. But the problem is we're falling behind in terms of how we're maintaining our system. We're falling behind in our ability to provide adequate mass transit to the public in order to make sure that we're building an adequate freight rail system in our state, in all kinds of different areas. So what we've identified is that in order to really have a safe and efficient transportation system, we probably need to be raising about $680 million more a year than we are right now. So what's happened is the governor's asked us to, the governor is strongly committed to infrastructure investment in our state as a tool to growing jobs and creating a more vibrant economy and being more economically competitive. So the governor's asked us to do this tour, but also to put together a plan for him that he can take to the legislature in the next budget that hopefully will get us on the path to an adequate and sustainable and equitable system for financing transportation in our state. So that's what we're going around doing and talking about. And I'd encourage you to take a look at some of the things we're doing in the department with regard to becoming a more performance-driven organization and one that is really trying to be responsive to the needs of the public, be accountable and transparent. So if I could take maybe 3 more minutes, what I'll do is what we do with our Transportation Moves Wisconsin tour is we have a short video that we've produced internally in the department. It's about 3.5 minutes long. It talks about some of the issues that I've talked about. We follow that video with a longer PowerPoint presentation, which you're welcome to certainly take a look at on our website. But if it's okay, I'll just, what I'll do is I'll run the video. say it's about 3.5 minutes, and I think it gives you the flavor for what we're doing right now, what we're all about.
Forward. In Wisconsin, that's been our motto for over 160 years. It means we're always planning ahead and always moving forward.
Transportation moves Wisconsin as it has from our beginnings. Natives and early settlers blazed trails and navigated rivers to find land where they could live, cultivate, produce, and trade with their neighbors.
New cities rose up along rivers and lakes, where population grew, businesses and industries were born, and learning, culture, and recreation flourished.
Through prudent investment, new technologies, and innovation, the paths and rivers soon became an interconnected network of streets and highways, ports and airports, and railroads and trails.
Today, that network moves us to work and school, moves raw materials to our factories, and finished products to markets around the world. Without it, reaching our full potential in a highly competitive global economy would be unthinkable.
And let's not forget that the transportation network that moves our economy also supports our quality of life by bringing us and millions of visitors to shopping, recreation, and pastimes that people enjoy in all kinds of weather.
But that system, built over generations and entrusted to our care, needs constant upkeep and attention. And the resources needed to support that care are becoming increasingly scarce. As cars and trucks become more fuel efficient, the revenue from fuel taxes isn't enough to cover basic maintenance or critical safety improvements. To keep Wisconsin moving, we need a new and improved vision for transportation for the next generation. A vision that's grounded in 21st century concepts of safety and mobility.
Wisconsin is a leader in developing innovative designs for highways, interchanges, and intersections that improve safety and efficiency.
We're expanding and modernizing critical freight corridors to reduce shipping costs and attract business, industry, and jobs to Wisconsin.
We're also investing in local roads and bridges so that every community, large and small, can stay connected to the global economy.
We're using cutting-edge technology to respond to changing traffic patterns, improve emergency response time, reduce delays, and keep you moving safely.
We're using advanced materials and new construction methods so that the transportation system of the future will be greener and leaner.
We're upgrading long-neglected rail lines to carry heavier cargoes to meet the needs of new and expanding industries.
We're investing in public transportation so that all our citizens can stay connected to work, school, and other destinations.
And we're doing it all with a commitment to transparency, accountability, and the cost-effective use of your tax dollars.
We all play a role in imagining, planning, and building this exciting new vision. It is a never-ending journey. Over the next few years, important decisions will be made about the path we take to a new vision for transportation in Wisconsin.
Be a part of that discussion, and let's move forward together, because transportation moves Wisconsin.
So as you see, I mean, our challenges are really those of every other state and really the federal government as well. Our transportation system is financed primarily from about almost 90% of our revenues come from gasoline taxes, fuel excise taxes and vehicle registration fees. With vehicles becoming more fuel efficient, those revenue sources are not going to be adequate to meet our needs. So we're not going to be able to continue to have the type of robust programs that we've had in the past. So we've been asked to spend some time researching this issue, come back to the governor with again, an adequate, sustainable, and equitable proposal for how we can make sure that we're going to be able to continue to meet not only the needs of financing our state transportation system, but our second biggest budget expenditure is local aid programs, whether it's general transportation aids for every city, village, town, and county in the state, local road improvement program, other local aid programs that we have for transit operations, including here and so forth. And we want to continue to do that. We want to continue to make those investments, but we need a new revenue structure to do that. And that's what we're really about trying to develop. And so I appreciate your interest. I would encourage you, if you have the time to look at our website, dot.wi.gov, our main website. Take a look both at the Transportation Moves Wisconsin initiative, which is a link on there, and also take a look at we touched briefly on our performance improvement program called MAPS for our 5 core goals: mobility, accountability, preservation, safety, and service. And why that's really important here in this discussion is we understand, as you as local officials as well, you can't go to your constituents any more than we can go to the legislature and the governor and say, give us more revenues, unless we can convince them that we're spending the money that they're giving us now responsibly, that we're being good stewards of public dollars, that we're a transparent and accountable and cost-effective agency. So our performance improvement program talks a lot about what we're doing to do that, what we're doing to become an innovative agency, and I would encourage you to take a look at that link as well. And we're being open about metrics that we're measuring to make sure that we're doing the best job that we can to be cost-effective, because building that confidence is really an important part of this program. And we think we have a great story to tell about that. We think we're a leading state agency in terms of performance measurement and lean government, and so we're proud to tell that story, and it's on our website as well.
Thank you, Mark. Any questions of the Secretary?
No question, just a comment. And my comment is, thank you for accepting my invitation to come and present this to the Superior City Council. And this is the third time that I've seen that 3.5-minute video. And watching it the third time, I had a thought, what about a public service announcement, or this being part of Discover Wisconsin? It would really be great for everybody in the state to be able to see this.
Alderman, we'd love to give it the widest circulation possible. Obviously, we're somewhat constrained and
Right.
In the funds that we have available, so we're making it out to as many groups as we
Right.
can. We've put it up on our website, but I'll check on those options, definitely.
Next time you're in Superior on a Wednesday, we would love to have you come and be our guest speaker at Rotary, Superior Noon
Sure.
Rotary. Okay?
Absolutely.
So,
Okay.
and you have my business card from
I do.
yesterday, so.
I do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Mark.
Mayor, thanks very much. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
Item number 6 is a consent agenda. I'm sorry, I'm going to back up. We didn't do the approval of the minutes from April 2nd, 2014.
Second.
Motion and multiple second. All in favor signify by saying
Aye.
aye. Opposed? Carried.
Item 6 is a consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and second for approval. Do you want to poll? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 7.1, Planning Director Cirque is requesting to sell city-owned land at 1106 North 8th Street for a minimum bid of $750.
Move for approval. Second. Have a motion and second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
7.2, Public Works Director Getman is recommending to award the 2014 pavement marking service to Farner Asphalt Ceiling for $32,520.34.
Have a motion and second. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
7.3, Getzman is recommending to award the Billings Park entrance culvert repair project to low bidder Lakehead Constructors, Inc. for $512,431.34.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Councilor Dalbeck?
Yeah, that is the, when you're coming into the park, and I assume all that brickwork and everything's going to be fixed up also?
Yes. Mr. Getzman?
Yeah, Counselor, that's exactly right. Those walls that are shotcreted
Right.
there and stuff, those will come down, and we're going to save some of that rock for, Mary's got a future project coming in the park to repair some of those retaining walls down by the trail.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to pour new concrete walls there with a stamped outside stone look on it, and then they'll be stained.
Okay, yeah, because the retaining walls that go around the old swimming dock, those are really bad down there. It's kind of an embarrassment, actually, to have people from outside the city. The top side of the park looks great. You walk by the water, and it looks like a ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 7.4, Getzman is recommending to award 2014 asphalt milling to WK Construction for an estimated amount of $103,056.38.
For the motion and second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 7.5 is, Getzman is recommending to approve the amendment to the land lease with Superior Flying Service for a 4,900 square foot hangar at the Richard I. Bong Memorial Airport.
Move for approval. Second. Motion and second, discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried.
Item 7.6, Getzman is recommending to approve to proceed with final engineering design of the East Fifth Street project with a grading paving type solution and to proceed with the bidding phase.
For the motion and second, discussion, Councilor Olson?
Jeff, didn't we go through this last year and it was put out for bid and nobody bid on it? Are we repeating somewhat of a step here?
Counselor, we're repeating it, but it's a different type of a plan. The bid that we tried to do last year was basically for milling and overlay and then putting on curbs on the outside like we did on 22nd Avenue. So they're just going to be grading a 4-foot section on the outside of the pavement, putting curb, and then backfilling. This would be, in turn, what I'm asking the council for is to try to complete a construction plan that would be complete grading, so we take out all of the old pavement, all the old curb, and construct a new grade with gravel all the way across the road width, and then put all new material in there, blacktop and curb.
If you'll notice, the lift that was put down late last fall it will not sustain itself. The
Right.
pavement is not allowing the lift to maintain itself, and evidence shows that within 2 or 3 years, if we went with the former plan, we'd be tearing it right back out the entire street.
In some areas we've done this and it's held up really well, but this doesn't appear to be one of them for some reason. And so we started in on plan development to go the route we were going to go last year. We were going to extend it all the way to Belknap Extension. But in looking at that type of construction, it doesn't give us the opportunity to drain the grade, put any storm sewer in it, anything like that, and for a longer lasting solution. So that's what I'm asking here is to go to finish the design for the project with a longer lasting solution that'll include the grading and the drainage. That's the proper solution there.
So my only other question then is, have we already approved this addition to the CIP?
We have not, and that's the reason I'm asking you for this tonight. We've got 2 projects in there for about 1.2 million, and we need a few $100,000 more, as I indicated in the letter. To at least that's the estimated cost now to do this thing completely, reconstruct it completely from Belknap up to 12th.
Okay.
And it sounds like Gene will be bringing that change to the CIP here in May. But in order to get the best bid price we can get and lower the extra money that we would need to do this, obviously the earlier we put it out to bid, the better off we'll be. So.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 7.7, Assistant Public Works Director Janico is recommending to award the bid to supply 4 dump bodies, plows, and wing assemblies to Monroe Trucking Equipment for $210,358.
Heard the motion and second. Discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item number 8.1, Mayor Hagan is appointing Gene Thompson to the Business Improvement District. The other 2 appointments on there were in error. They're to be appointed to the Park and Rec. That will come back next month for your approval. So right now, you're just approving Gene Thompson to the bid.
For the motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 8.2, Mayor Hagan is submitting the Animal Shelter Ad Hoc Committee appointments with an amendment to add Counselor Olson.
Heard the motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 9.1, Counselor McDonald is requesting an update on Better City Superior.
Good evening. Yeah, it's at least 10 minutes. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Michelle Hostetler. I'm the Executive Director of the Development Association, which is the economic development entity for Superior and Douglas County. It's hard to get that all in one breath. I'm here tonight on behalf of Bruce Thompson, who is the president of Better City Superior. Bruce had another meeting and could not be here. He did prepare a statement, so although I typically don't read, I will read his statement just so that I can promise him I did. Better City Superior, Inc., a 501c6 nonprofit economic development corporation, was formed in January 2014 and contracted with Better City US to begin the task of recruiting employers, redeveloping Superior's downtown, and addressing Superior's lack of modern and adequate housing. Better City Superior, Inc. is acting in partnership with the City of Superior, Superior Douglas County Development Association, Superior Business Improvement District, Chamber of Commerce, and Better City US on a regular basis to prioritize and create opportunity for local and non-local investment. Better City Superior, Inc. is driven by a diverse local board of directors, and to date, over 40 businesses and organizations have pledged their financial support and cooperation to engage Better City US through our contract to do project market studies, strategic planning, and recruitment for our cities. Committees are being developed for historic preservation, indoor recreation, and acquisition. Better City Superior, Inc. has developed its own branding and a website that will be updated as projects become a reality. The website is live, although it is not yet in the condition that we hope will be the ultimate product, but it can be found at bettercitysuperior.org. The Better City Superior Board of Directors are Bruce Thompson, who has led this campaign for finances and really put together everything needed to bring Matthew Godfrey and Better City US to our local community. Dave Miller from Northwest Outlet, Ryan Fraley from Sue Vinci Trucking, Al Kurtz from Erberts and Gerberts, Mark Hubbard from Lakehead Constructors, and Jason Cirk from the city. So Matthew Godfrey is actually in town and will be speaking at the BID annual meeting if it doesn't snow like crazy. And we hope that you'll be able to attend that and hear what he has to say. We hope to come back on a regular basis and give you more specific updates as the projects come to fruition. So, any questions for me?
Right. I'll defer to Denise first.
Hi, I don't have a question. I just want to thank you. And you can tell Matthew thank you for the snow.
Oh.
Every time he comes, he brings the snow.
He does, and he loves snow, so I'm going to...
Thanks, Michelle.
Kay's told him about 5 times a day, this is all your fault.
I can hear her saying that. I have 2 questions, and you may or may not know the answer. First one is how much money has been expended so far on BetterCity.us?
I don't know how much has been spent so far. It's a $120,000 a year contract, and
Right.
Matthew has been working for us for several months.
Right. Okay. And then the second question that I have is what progress has been seen so far?
Well, the committee that meets with Matthew on a regular basis via telephone conferences is been given the opportunity to see the studies, the feasibility studies that have been completed, and also, brochures have been completed. There's just all of the base work is really done, and the foundation is set to go forward. So, everything's been in the background up until this point, but it's done. Much of it is done and ready to go forward, and we hope be very public soon.
Good. So I would imagine that Matthew will have comments about this tomorrow.
That I assume.
If it doesn't snow.
If
And
it
also,
doesn't
he's speaking at UWS for Superior Young Professionals.
Yes.
I'm not young, but I was invited, and I said yes. So,
I'm their token old person.
well, they need one. So thanks, Michelle. Good job as always.
Any others?
That's a 2-year contract with Mr. Godfrey?
Yes, and the contract is actually with Better City Superior. It's with that corporation, the 501c6.
Is he a superior officer of that, or a CEO or anything like that? Or
No, Bruce Thompson is the president of that.
Of-
Better City Superior.
Okay, how about Better City US?
He's the owner and CEO of Better City US.
Okay. So, and it, like Warren alluded to, you may or may not know this, but where do you figure we are phase-wise? When you're saying brochures are coming out, and to the fact of fruition, where do we figure we are?
Mayor, you may be able to help me with this. I would think we're at the end of phase 1.
The phase that we're in right now, Matthew's been to the community with his team, representing different segments of the organization that they have. They've had probably 100+ interviews of different people of all walks of life in the community to get a flavor for the community and the surrounding area as to what is needed, what people believe is needed, what direction the city and the surrounding area may wish to go. They're looking at a theme similar to the one that was created in Ogden, Utah, High Adventure. That's their theme. Duluth, their moniker is the airlift bridge. And so we need to wrap our arms around who are we, what are we, where do we want to go, and what would the components be of moving forward in the community, from business, economic development, retail, infrastructure, tourism, and looking at what is the draw, what will be the draw. So phase 1 is kind of a compilation of the different discussions about what is the feeling, what is the belief, what is the mood of where we want to be. And that'll be the first phase.
And then are we getting tools to the city of Superior to move forward, per se, when this contract is up? Are we gonna
Absolutely.
be self-sustainable?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Thanks again.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Michelle.
Motion to receive and file.
You've heard the motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried.
Counselor Bender?
Yes, Sue Heskin, Director of the Library, was not able to be here tonight. And since I am now on the library board, I said I would be glad to pitch this. And I'd asked Peter Luke yesterday, or on Monday, if he would prepare a slide for this to go up for those 6 people watching at home. And since I'm not seeing it and we don't have a pad cam, I'll hold this up like this. And I'll remind everybody that the book sale is Friday, April 25th, starting at 9 a.m., getting done at 7 p.m., and Saturday, April 26th, from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it's at the Superior Public Library, and it's presented by the Friends of the Public Library, and they're always looking for new friends and always looking for new people to take out library cards and to be able to use our great facility that we have. Thank you for allowing me to make that announcement.
Item 11.1, ordinance introduced by the Building Inspection Division, repealing Chapter 6, Article 3, sign erector license.
For the motion and second to approve, Councilor Dennis Dahlbeck, did you have a question? Oh, I'm sorry. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
11.2, an ordinance introduced by the Director of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry, amending Section 86-94 archery hunting areas and seasons.
For the motion and second discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Item 11.3, an ordinance introduced,
I got it.
sorry.
I'm just waiting. Okay.
For this one, okay, I'm sorry. Ordinance introduced by the Building Inspection Division, amending Chapter 58, garbage and rubbish.
I'd like to refer this back to the Public Works Committee.
Second.
For the motion and second for referral, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Is there any further business to come before this body? You've heard the motion and second. We stand adjourned.